Icon Superstar, and welcome to Playing Like a Pro with Miss JoJo. If you made it to this video, then that means you've done the hardest part. You invested in yourself and you decided to start. But I guarantee you, if you take the principles that you learned in this course and apply it to any piece, you will be playing like a pro before you know it. This course is designed so that no matter what piece, what difficulty, you can apply the principles learned here and play anything. I always tell people, if you know your alphabet up to the letter G, if you can count to 10, and if you know your left from your right, then you have all the tools that you need to be a phenomenal pianist. So let's do it. I started playing the piano when I was 6 years old, and I absolutely hated it until I was 18. But when I was 18, that's when I fell in love with the instrument. My very first recital piece was Arabesque No. 1 by Claude Debussy, and it changed my life forever. When I truly fell in love with the instrument, I was able to grow beyond my wildest dreams. And so my job is to help making learning the piano super simple so that you can truly enjoy your journey. Be sure to send me your updates as you learn different pieces, and I just absolutely cannot wait to hear you play. If I were to ask you how big you thought the piano was, how big would you say? Most people say about this big. But would you believe that the piano is really only this big? The piano is a sequential instrument, which means that it operates in a pattern. You have the same thing over and over and over and over. The first thing that we'd like to talk about are your 2 black keys and your 3 black keys. Your 2 black keys and your 3 black keys. Let's start. I tell all of my students that one of the most important notes that you will ever learn is C. So let's start there. Repeat after me. 2 black keys to the left is C. Awesome. Let's try it again. 2 black keys to the left is C. Fantastic. So now let's try and play that. 2 black keys to the left is C. 2 black keys to the left is C. And now we just learned C. So let's spend some time going up and down the piano practicing playing C. If your instrument is shorter than ours is here, then just keep going with what you have. Two black keys to the left is C. 2 black keys to the left is C. Fantastic. Great job. Super simple, right? So remember how in the beginning I said you needed to be able to say your alphabet up to the letter G? Well, let's try that. So we've learned where C is. 2 black keys to the left is C. So what do you think the one right next to it is? Did you say D? I hope so, because that's what it is. So we have C and then D. So what do you think the next one is? E. It's super simple, right? So we have C, D, and E that are around the 2 black keys. 2 black keys to the left, C, D, E. Now let's take a look at the 3 black keys. We've already learned C, D, and E, so the next one would be F. C, D, E, F. Now remember, we only have to go up to the letter G. So C, D, E, F, and G. So what happens now? We start over. Remember, the piano is a sequential instrument. It's only this big. C, D, E, F, G, and then we have A and B. Super simple. So now let's try and play different notes all over our instrument. Let's start by playing D. 2 black keys to the left is C, and right next to that is D. Good. 2 black keys to the left is C, and right next to that is D. Now let's try and play F. F is to the left of the 3 black keys. 3 black keys to the left is F. 3 black keys to the left is F. Nice work. Now, before you go on to the next module, be sure to do your note naming worksheet. And we'll see you soon. Okay, so we've already spent time learning about all of the white keys. Now let's learn about the black keys. In your music, you'll see symbols like this, and this, and this. There's a lot more, but you can read about those in your workbook. When you're trying to figure out the difference between a sharp, a flat, or a natural, just think about this. Sharps are going to move a half step higher. Half steps mean that you don't skip any notes. So for example, if we have C, and you move a half step higher, we've now played a C sharp. Let's try another. Let's try F, and a half step higher is an F sharp. Super simple. Now, if you have a flat symbol, those are going to move a half step down. So let's try E, and then a half step lower. That's an E flat. Let's try G, and a half step lower. That's a G flat. Great job! Before you move on to the next module, make sure that you finished all of your key naming worksheets in your workbook. When you first look at a piece of music, it probably looks something like this. Whoa, right? It looks like there's a lot going on the page. But honestly, it's not as bad as it seems. If you look at each note, you'll find 2 consistencies. The circles, which are called note heads, will either be on a line or a space. They'll either have a line going through it or it won't. That's simple enough, but how do we tell which hand is for which part? If you take your music and turn it sideways and then hold up your hands, can you tell which hand goes with which part of the staff? Your right hand is going to go with what we call the treble clef, and your left hand is going to fall on the bass clef. But now that we know which hand plays in which area, we still have to identify what letter goes with each line or space. Each staff has 5 lines and 4 spaces. If you look in your workbook, you're going to see 4 different pages. 2 are for treble clef and 2 are for bass clef. 2 are treble clef lines and spaces. 2 are bass clef lines and spaces. When you're trying to determine which letter goes with each line or space, there are 3 questions that you want to ask. The first, is it treble or bass? The second, is it a line or a space? And the third, which line or space is it on? So for example, if you saw this note, you would first say, is it treble or bass? Did you answer treble? Great. Is it a line or a space? Did you answer line? Fantastic. Now, which line is it on? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? Fantastic. There's quite a few worksheets to help you with practice on this particular technique. Do a few of those, and we'll come back for the next module. Now that we've learned how to identify what letter goes with each note, let's talk about why all of the notes look different. Music notation was developed so that people could easily remember and recreate the pieces that were performed. We've already talked about lines and spaces, and that helped tremendously. But then came the task of creating ways to identify how long some of the notes should be held. Enter rhythms. If you think of it as a pie, you'll easily see how it's all broken down. The first one that we'll talk about is the whole note. Whole notes get a full measure's worth of beats. So for example, if you have 4 beats in a measure, then your whole note is going to be worth 4 beats. If we cut that in half, we now have a half note. And a half note gets 2 beats. If we cut that in half again, we now have quarter notes. And quarter notes get 1 beat. But it gets even smaller. After the quarter note, you have an eighth note, which gets a half of a beat. And even smaller than that, you have 16th notes, and that gets half of a beat. It keeps going longer and shorter, and I know that was a lot of information to take in. So let's take a break while you spend some time identifying the names and the duration of the notes in your rhythm worksheets. No matter what activity you participate in, your instructor will always tell you to warm up first. Whether it's stretching, doing a few easy laps before swimming, or singing a range of exercises before a choir rehearsal, you always have to warm up. For piano, it's scales. Truth be told, I was not a fan of the scales. I thought they were boring, repetitive, and I never felt strong after I finished them. So what did I do? I avoided them. And once I grew to more advanced pieces, I realized that I didn't have the skills that I needed in order to comfortably play some of the more advanced passages. I like to compare scales to the alphabet. You can't read books, signs, or anything else if you haven't learned what the letters are. They're your foundation. And scales truly are the foundation of a successful musical performance. Some of the fanciest things that you will ever hear a pianist play are built up from scales. Whenever you play your scales, remember that you are always moving to the next note. Whether you're ascending or descending, it's always moving to the next note. Take out your Group 3 scales sheet, and we'll start with C major. You'll notice there's a line for right hand and a line for left hand, with the letters in the middle. Let's start by saying the finger numbers for right hand. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was your C major scale, ascending. Now, let's read the same line for right hand, going backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. That was your C major scale, right hand, descending. Let's try and play. Let's say the finger numbers and the letters to help you stay on track. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, C, 2, D, 3, E. Now you'll need to take your thumb and place it under. 1, F, 2, G, 3, A, 4, B, again, thumb under. 1, C, 2, D, 3, E, thumb under. 1, F, 2, G, 3, A, 4, B, and 5, C. That was your C major scale, right hand, ascending. Now let's go backwards. 5, C, 4, B, 3, crossover, 3, E, 2, D, 1, C, crossover, 4, B, 3, A, 2, G, 1, F, crossover, 3, E, 2, D, 1, C. Very nice. Good for you. Good for you. So that was your C major scale, right hand, both ascending and descending. Now, let's try the same thing on left hand. But the numbers are going to go backwards first. We start with 5. 5 on C. Ready? Let's go. 5, C, 4, D, 3, E, 2, F, 1, G, 3, A, 2, B, 1, C, 4, D, 3, E, 2, F, 1, G, 3, A, 2, B, 1, C. Fantastic. And now let's go back down. 1, C, 2, B, 3, A, 1, G, 2, F, 3, E, 4, D, 1, C, 2, B, 3, A, 1, G, 2, F, 3, E, 4, D, and 5, C. Fantastic job. Once you're comfortable with that, if you'd like to try heads together, read the top number and then the bottom number. 1 and 5 on C, 2 and 4 on D, 3 and 3 on E, 1 and 2 on F, 2 and 1 on G, 3 and 3 on A, 4 and 2 on B, 1 and 1 on C, 2 and 4 on D, 3 and 3 on E, 1 and 2 on F, 2 and 1 on G, 3 and 3 on A, 4 and 2 on B, 5 and 1 on C. And back down, super fast. One of the reasons that we separate the scales by groups 1, 2, and 3 is that in group 3, the finger patterns won't change. So C major will be the same as G major, which will also be the same as D major, A major, and E major. The finger numbers are all the same. That's a really, really easy way to get started. Group 2, the finger numbers will adjust just a little bit. For example, your right hand for F will start with fingers 1, 2, 3, and 4 before thumb under to 1 on C. Take a moment to practice these hands alone. Now that we've talked about how to play your major scales, there are 2 more exercises that I'd like to cover. The first is your arpeggios. Arpeggios are created by playing the 3 notes in your major or minor chord. So for example, if we're playing a C major arpeggio, your major chord is built up of C, E, and G, and you will play those notes over and over. Helps you get more comfortable with longer passages and stretching throughout the keys as opposed to small, tight passages. Your minor scales are another super crucial element to your practice. And minor scales match, I like to say they have a twin, your major scales. So for example, C major has what we call a relative minor, and that would be A. And that means that both keys have the same key signature, or foundational bass. So C major has no black keys, which means that when you play the A natural minor, it will also have no black keys. But there are two more types of minors. The first one, which is the most traditional, is the harmonic minor. And in order to play the harmonic minor, you raise the 7th degree of your scale by a half step. So if we're counting each of our degrees in our scale, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, G turns out to be our 7th degree. And remember we said that half steps are one note, we don't skip anything, and we're raising it. So that is your next note, G sharp. 1. Raise the 7th. And that's your harmonic minor. The melodic minor is my favorite. You raise 6 and 7 when you ascend, and you lower them when you descend. So, the 6th degree, the 7th degree, and we continue. 6, 7, and then we lower as we descend. Now once you've mastered your major, your minor, and your arpeggios, there's a couple of different things that you can do to keep your scale practice interesting. One exercise that I truly enjoy is called Hanon. In Hanon, you have the same notes in both left hand and right hand, and everything operates in a pattern. For example, the first Hanon you start on C, you skip a note, and then you play each consecutive note up and down. And then you start on the next note and play the same pattern. It's super simple, and it allows you to feel like you're playing more than just a scale. So now, take some time to work on your major scales, your major arpeggios, and your minor scales. And maybe try one of the extra supplemental materials. And we'll see you in just a bit. Now that we've done all of the main work, we'll apply each of the things that we've learned so that you can play a new piece. This one's simple to start with, but I think you'll be pleased with the overall result. Let's get started. So the first thing you'll want to do is color in the middle C section of your piece. Middle C is the reference point of the piano, and it determines whether or not your notes are going to be played on the higher register or the lower register. If you turn your paper again to the side, you'll notice that the right hand generally falls above middle C, and the left hand will fall below middle C. Sometimes it can be a little different, but for the most part, this is what you'll see. Now that we have everything colored in, let's start with your measures. Each of these boxes is what we call a measure. So we have measure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. let's stop here. If you go back to the beginning of your piece, could you write the letter A and draw a box around it? Now let's go to measure 9 and write the letter B and draw a box around it. For this video, we'll focus on the notes in section A. Let's start with the treble clef. Our first note, is it a line or a space? Great, it's a space. Is it in space number 1, 2, 3, or 4? Perfect, it's space number 3. And what letter is in space number 3 on treble clef? C. So go ahead and write the letter C above your note. Let's go to the next one. Is it a line or a space? Exactly, it's a space. Now is it in space number 1, 2, 3, or 4? Very good, it's space number 4. And what letter goes with space number 4 on treble clef? E. Very good. So now write the letter E above your note. Take a minute and pause this video and go through the rest of the treble clef notes for section A. Great job. You just finished all of your treble clef notes for section A. Now let's work on the bass clef notes. The principle is the same. Let's look at our first note. Is it a line or a space? Very good. It's a space. Is it in space number 1, 2, 3, or 4? Awesome. It's space number 3. And what letter is in space number 3 on bass clef? Fantastic. It is E. So go ahead and write the letter E underneath this note. If it helps to write it in a different color, feel free to do that as well. Let's move on to the next note. Is it a line or a space? Great, it's a space. Now is it in space number 1, 2, 3, or 4? Very good, it's in space number 2. And what letter is in space number 2 on bass clef? Nice job, it's C. So go ahead and write the letter C underneath your note. Okay, pause the video and finish your notes for section A, bass clef. Great job. We now have all of the notes written in for section A. Let's take a look at our note direction. The first note on treble clef is C. Does that look like it's close to middle C or far from middle C? It's a little bit farther. It's not very far, but it's far away. Now, is it above middle C or below middle C? Exactly, it's above, which means that you would play it here. Middle C is here, and since the C on your music is higher, you'll play it here. Now take a look at your next note. It's E, but did the E move up or down? Very good. I hope you said it moved up. Which means that you'll play E here. C, E. The next note is the same C that you played in the beginning. Excellent job. Now we're in measure 2. Your first note is a C sharp, and it's in the same area as the C that you're currently playing. So it would be here. And then your next note is D, which would be here. Make sure that you're looking to see whether or not your notes move higher or lower. Let's take a quick jump to measure 7. If you'll notice, on bass clef, the first note is C, the next note is D, and then your next note is also D. But look at the difference in the location of both Ds. Did the second one move up or down? It moved down. So the left hand for measure 7 would go like this. Very nice. Now, let's do a quick review of the keys, and then we'll work on playing it hands alone. 2 black keys. To the left is C. C, D, E. 3 black keys. To the left is F. F, G, A, B. Let's take a moment to write in the notes for section B, and then we'll try to play everything hands alone. How are you feeling? You've been working so hard, and you've already learned so much. Now comes the fun part of putting it hands together. Let's start by drawing a line, connecting our treble clef to our bass clef. Now when it's time to play, you want to imagine that there's a line that scans across each measure, and you play whatever the line hits in that order. For example, in measure 1 of Minuet in C, the order is right hand, left hand, hands together, and then right hand. In measure 2, it's right hand, hands together, and then left hand. Sometimes it's helpful in the early learning stages to say the letters out loud to help you keep up with where you are. I always say the top and then the bottom, right and then left. That way it helps me stay consistent. So let's try to play section A, hands together. 1, 2, 3. C, E, E and C, C, C sharp, D, D and B, G, D, B, F and G, D, D sharp, E, E and C, C, E, E and C, G, F sharp, C, A, G and B, D, D and B, B, D sharp, E and C, C, D and B, A, G and D, F sharp and G, D, G and G. Now let's try and play that one more time. Very nice. If you had a little trouble keeping up, go back through and try and play along with the recording hands alone. Once you're super comfortable with that, try it hands together again. Your next job is to go through section B and do the same thing. Try and play section B hands together and then put the entire piece together. Once you're comfortable with that, try and play along with the tape. Okay, so that was a simple song, right? But what if the song you want to play is much harder? Let's try one that everybody wants to learn. Fur-Elise. So we start from the beginning, the very same way. Our first note, is it on treble clef or bass clef? Very nice, it's on treble clef. Is it a line or a space? Fantastic, it's a space. Is it in space number 1, 2, 3, or 4? Very good, it's in space number 4. So what letter is in space number 4 on treble clef? It's E, very good. So write the letter E above your note. This particular piece is already sort of sectioned off, but if you'd like, you can still go through and mark your A section, your B section, and you just continue as you go through the piece. Go through all of your right hand notes, write them down, and then try to play that hands alone. Then go back, write in all of your left hand, your bass clef notes, and try and play that hands alone. Remember, you go note by note by note in the order that it appears in the measure. And then you try it hands together. Super simple. You see, even with the more advanced pieces, there's just more notes to play, but the learning process stays the same. Now you can go to any music store and pick out any book that you'd like and play any song that's in there. What are you waiting for? Go play! Can you believe it? You have just successfully navigated the process of learning how to play the piano. Just like anything else, it takes work and consistency. But that's a lot easier to do when you only bite off a little at a time. And we've only scratched the surface. There's dynamics and articulation and ornaments and composition and chord building and so much more. So be sure to check out our mini courses, or you can even schedule a one-on-one session with me completely catered to whatever it is that you'd like to learn. You should be so proud of yourself. You did it. Keep working hard. At Keys to Greatness, we believe that excellence is attainable, so it's required. So long as you keep doing your very best, you will succeed. Happy practicing.
His fingers, saving my life with his words, killing me softly with his song, killing me softly with his song, telling my whole life with his words, killing me softly with his song. I heard he sang a good song. I heard he had a sound, and so I came to see him and listen for a while. And there he was, this young one, a stranger to my eyes, trying to play with his fingers, saving my life with his words, killing me softly with his song, killing me softly with his song, telling my whole life with his words, killing me softly
Yeah. Just keep shooting.
Because I'm just lifting her.